All right, everybody. We're back again talking about our boy Pewds, our lovely Swedish man, PewDiePie, who, by the looks of it, has apparently gone back to his OG look. I can respect that. I really don't. I really didn't like his weird, like, beard and frosted tips thing he had going on for a while. I say that right now, having insane blonde roots, basically more or less the same thing he had going on. Wasn't a big fan of it. That with the beard going on, kind of, it made it hard for me to defend PewDiePie as him not being a white nationalist. For those of you guys that don't know, PewDiePie is or was the most popular YouTuber. Like, the most subscribers, the most general knowledge about him, the most general, like, pop culture impact, just the most popular YouTuber. Hands down, without a doubt, just he is or was number one. And he's still, like, in the top three for sure, though I think Mr. Beast is, like, about to rocket past him. Mr. Beast is about to hit 100 million subs, and, like, I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast is going to beat him. Like, Mr. Beast actually, like, spends the money he makes for his videos to make them, like, way, way better every time. I'm not, like, shitting on PewDiePie in that respect. Like, PewDiePie's being smart and clearly saving his money by the looks of it, but, like, Mr. Beast really puts his wealth into his videos, and every video looks like more money went into it than the last, so it really does seem like he has the ability to rocket past PewDiePie potentially, at least in regards to his content quality. I mean, one Mr. Beast video had way more man hours and money put into it, I feel like, than one PewDiePie video. We'll see. We'll see. Plus, Mr. Beast has the meme fuel and is on good terms with PewDiePie, so it's not like there's any animosity there, right? Like, PewDiePie fans don't feel the need to avoid subbing to Mr. Beast. We'll see what happens, regardless. With that said, PewDiePie has gotten into a lot of drama, particularly political drama. And the most notable has to do with accusations of him being a Nazi or a white nationalist. Now, you may think me, as a devout lefty, or really to be a little bit more broad, as a progressive in general, you would think that I would be on board with the PewDiePie hate train. You'd think I would be on board with this idea that PewDiePie is a white nationalist or a Nazi, yada, yada, yada. I have actually been a pretty strong proponent of the idea that he is not. I think the evidence that he is not far-right outnumbers the amount of evidence that suggests he might be far-right. Now, does that mean he hasn't done things that are a sussy-wussy and unacceptable in the past? Absolutely not. He has done those things. But let's be real. People who nobody accuses of being a Nazi, at least certainly not to the scale they accuse PewDiePie of being a Nazi, have done far worse and have gotten away with it. So I don't think it's evidence enough PewDiePie's far right or a Nazi. Not to mention, if he was super far right, with the audience and the platform that he has, he would not be able to resist using that platform to push his ideas, especially when he has, and let me be clear here, no doubt, all of the money he could ever fucking need. So it's not like he needs to keep his YouTube channel to keep, to continue existing, Regardless, I've defended PewDiePie in the past, mostly pointing out that I think the cases in which it seems like he's far right are blunders and misinterpretations, right? In fact, I showed a clip that... let me actually show it again. I feel the need to show it every single time I talk about PewDiePie in this context, because this is by far the hardest that PewDiePie has ever talked about politics explicitly, is the clip that I'm about to show you. It's old, but it's not insanely old. It's from late 2014. Literally like a year and a half before the presidential election in 2016. So, not exactly not too much would probably have changed in that time. So, look, it's Hasanabi. It's Hasanabi.
The video PewDiePie featured of ER isn't even his worst. He published 2 separate Steven Universe videos with serious anti-Semitic propaganda inserted into children cartoon reviews with millions of views, whether it was featured
in Sweden.
Okay, here's the clip I was referencing. This is the most explicitly PewDiePie has ever spoken on politics, from my understanding. Unless you count The Bridge as talking about politics.
from his own podcast. So this is how he talked about it.
It's weird because in Sweden, it's the younger people that are racist. It's not the older ones.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I don't know how that works, but that's how it is. Like, the older people are understanding and, like, good people.
Yeah.
And the young are just douchebags.
I think he also told me that, like, a lot of, like, they blame it on the immigration, but, like, a lot of crime has increased a lot in the last few years.
It's so easy to blame it on the immigrants.
Yeah.
It's really not true. And statistics show that it isn't, but people like to say it is. And it's the same with, like, rape, because apparently we have, like, more rape than ever in Sweden.
Oh, wow.
Like, it literally, like, tripled in the last couple of years. And now everyone's like, it's the damn immigrants. But then statistics shows that it's more Swedish people than anyone.
Oh, wow.
And it also shows that the immigrants that actually do it is also, like, from Norway and Denmark and shit.
Oh, so they're almost
But
local.
we just had an election in Sweden, and 13% of voters voted for Swedish Democrats, which is a racist and homophobic party. Good job, Sweden. So proud of you. Idiots. I'm so done with Sweden. My mom was like crying over it. It's crazy.
Where is
He no longer lives in Sweden, as you can imagine, has not for a long time. That is the most explicitly PewDiePie has ever spoken on politics, and that was in 2014. I want to point out that not only does he seem to have, like, good takes there, but they seem to be well-researched good takes. It's not like just him expressing some vaguely left-wing political gesture. It's him citing real statistics that he seems to have at least done cursory research on. So he seems like an informed guy. He lives in Japan now? Yeah, he seems like he's an informed guy, right? So, and if he was that based literally a year and a half before Trump got elected, I find it unlikely he's like super far right or anything. What I find to be far more likely, he sounded sincere as well. Yeah, what I find far more likely is that PewDiePie has gotten sort of caught up in the insincere, sort of irreverent presentation of being on the internet. You come off as cooler online by not really caring about things within reason. There are times in which caring about important topics makes you look cool and makes you look fine online. Like Mr. Beast and his Team Trees and Team C's thing. He's very loved for that. But like, if PewDiePie went on to one of his videos and started preaching to his audience about social justice, he would tank his reputation with a large portion of his fan base on the internet, to be very, very clear. So he's kind of fallen into this weirdly not wanting to upset either side, apolitical, not really speaking on politics, but the sort of presentation that he falls into is like a very irreverent, edgy, but not in like the, you know, like the edgy sense, sort of presentation that attracts some people on the far right. And this has led to the conception by a lot of left-wing people that PewDiePie is far right, because he has admittedly attracted a lot of far-right people to his audience, and they like to claim he's their guy and whatnot, because they all really want PewDiePie to agree with them, because if the biggest YouTuber ever agrees with them, then I guess that's a big win for them, because they base all of their self-esteem and self-worth on whether or not popular, famous, well-liked people agree with them. Believe it or not, my first ever debate I ever had on my channel was with a Trump supporter whose main argument was that he voted for Trump because Elon Musk did. And Elon Musk is quote-unquote a genius, so whoever Elon Musk votes for must be the correct person to vote for to lead America. That is how these people think. If their favorite YouTuber who spouts these political opinions has more subscribers, that means the positions are correct. If a popular, famous guy they like, a celebrity that they dick ride constantly, believes in those things, then those are the opinions that are correct. And they feel better, and they feel like it's a confidence boost to them, like their moral worth has increased just having that knowledge. It's very pathetic. These are people who based all of their self-worth on what people on the internet think of them. And listen, being a YouTuber, you'd think being a YouTuber or a streamer would lead you into the trap of like, or at least you'd think it'd lead me into the trap of like making my self-worth rely on what other people on the internet think of me. For me, it had the exact opposite effect. What it made me realize is that other people's opinions of me do not fucking matter. Holy shit. You do not know how much other people's opinions of you don't matter until you've had like every single individual like aspect of your personal life theorized on the internet. And when you see people just theorizing on your personal life and getting shit so incredibly wrong, you start to realize whenever you go out in public, people are making crazy, like, if they are even giving a shit about your existence, they're probably making crazy assumptions about you, whether you like it or not. And they're probably so far off base from what's true that it's insane and should be funny to you, if anything. So really, for me, it helped me not give as much shit about what other people think of me. Anyway, that's just my little take. Regardless, though, our boy Pewds, our man, our Swedish handsome man, got into some drama these last couple days. Actually, it was literally yesterday on my birthday, the 27th, that this tweet was made, and it got 58,000 likes. Simply stating, not PewDiePie making fun of a deaf woman, question mark, question mark, question mark. And so here we seem to have PewDiePie responding to a TikTok in a clip of one of his videos. So let's give it a watch.
Well, I was at a drive-thru and it has like the people where they stand outside and they take your order before you go up to like the window. So I pull up and I roll my window down, and this lady, when I...
No, I'm not listening to this. Look, she has your crazy nails, man.
So anyway, what I did was, I went outside and then I peed and then I pooped a little bit as well, and it was crazy. Sorry, are my nails distracting you guys?
Well, I was at a drive-thru and...
All right. Oh boy. That's it. Yeah, I'm like torn on this because in one respect, it does clearly seem like he's making fun of her voice and her, like, is she doing like, is it ASL? I think it's ASL, right? Is she doing ASL? Because people with hearing impairment will like speak and do ASL along with what they're saying, just, you know, cause they can. Is that what she was doing? I wouldn't be able to tell. I don't know enough of it. Yes? Kind of wish my uncle was here. My uncle had a really, really bad speech impediment growing up, like so bad to the extent that his teachers and everything had completely given up on him. And we're literally just like, yeah, we're basically just going to like teach him sign language, like ASL, and that's how he's going to communicate. Like, they were literally to that extent going to give up on him being able to speak. Like, he literally couldn't say certain words, is how extreme it was. And so, you know, my grandma was like, fuck no, you're not. And like, Karen'd the fuck out until the school ended up offering him like these one-on-one tutoring sessions for his speaking. And now he basically just kind of sounds like he has an accent when he speaks. Like, people think he's Australian generally because it kind of sounds like he has an Australian accent. It's basically he can't pronounce R's. If you've heard somebody with a speech impediment of that type, you probably know like what I'm talking about. But yeah, it just kind of sounds like he has an accent. So he worked his ass off, but he knows ASL quite well, and he'd be able to recognize it, but I can't tell just from looking at it. I should have asked him to teach me. That would have been a neat skill to have, wouldn't it? Imagine if I knew ASL and I could do it like on screen while I talk. That would add like a whole new level of accessibility to my content for hearing impaired people. That'd be really cool. Imagine the Sigma male learning ASL just so you can do it in your videos to make them more accessible. Grind. The only problem I see with the video is the voice, but I don't see any problem with her, making fun of her for being black or deaf, or at least not in bad faith. Okay, so I don't really see anything necessarily making fun of her race. What really seems to be... okay. Let me tell you how this looks from a few different angles. And that's like, I feel like the best way to go about this, okay? So from one angle you have is the Twitter woke scold angle, okay? And this is the angle in which you look at literally every conceivable possible negative thing in the video to attack PewDiePie for. Okay, and this is what you could do. You could attack PewDiePie for the voice and claim it's ableist. You could attack PewDiePie for simply making fun of somebody who is in any way disabled and claim that's ableist. You could make fun, or you could attack PewDiePie for making fun of the nails and claim that is in some way connected to racism. I'm sure that some people on Twitter could try to make that connection. You could try to make the claim that, hell, you could even, if you really wanted to stretch it, make the claim that him holding his dog and doing the impression with his dog was a dog whistle. You know, literally a dog whistle. You could really, really try to, like, dig into every little thing he just did there and try to, like, find some connection on how that could be some really problematic, fucked up shit. But if you have to look that hard, then you might be looking too hard. Does anybody else agree? That's what I think, like, the woke scold angle is. Then you've got, like, the really generous to PewDiePie angle, right? And that's the angle of, like, he's literally just making fun of her nails being long and her tapping them together and that being distracting. And that is it. In fact, that is the exact tweet we have here. The PewDiePie Dick Rider tweet. Wait, PewDiePie makes fun of people's nails and you guys make it about disability and race? I will say the making it about race thing seems like a very big stretch. The disability thing, though, this is where I think there's a little bit more potential merit to it. So I'm going to give you guys the third angle. All right, this is my angle. This just seems like it's insensitivity. Are you guys familiar with the term microaggression? I know it's a meme. I know the righties watching right now are making fun of me, but it's a real term. Microaggression is a term used for commonplace daily verbal, behavioral, or environmental slights, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile, derogatory, or negative attitudes towards stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups. So, like, microaggression has been memified as far as words go. Like, South Park has done a big part in this, like the PC principal guy saying, "That was a microaggression!" Like, obviously, you should never react to a microaggression that way, otherwise you look fucking insane. You would literally be a cartoon caricature if you did that. But it's a real thing, right? So a good example of this would be like, let me think of a good example that won't get me canceled. Here's a good example of this that people might not realize, because this is an unintentional one. When a white person will ask somebody who of like Asian descent where they're from. Like, clearly meaning to ask, like, you know, are you from another country? Like, what Asian country are you from? That's like, and no harm is meant. It is literally like a kind, you know, a question being asked to get to know someone better, smile on their face, not meaning any harm by it. However, there is still bias and maybe a little bit of what you could quantify as racist, you know, stereotyping motivating that question. You wouldn't ask that question of, like, I don't know, some white person you'd met and had the same interaction with necessarily, unless you ask everybody that you've met where they're from, and you literally just mean, yeah, where are you from? I'm curious. Like, did you grow up in fucking Michigan? Did you grow up in, you know, Canada? Did you grow up in another country? Where are you from? Like, it could be that, but, like, you know what I'm referring to, right? It's basically those unintentional small things that don't seem like a big deal that are still motivated by general vibes, right? It's really just negative vibes that motivate small things in your words and how you speak to people. And it may not seem like a big deal, but if you were one of the people who's like the product of those microaggressions, or the victim feels a little bit too extreme, but like the receiver, I suppose you could say, of those microaggressions, it becomes a lot more noticeable. And it becomes frustrating. It stands out every time, but it seems crazy to point out to the people that don't even notice that they're doing it, or people that don't even notice that it's a thing. And, well, it doesn't help the fact that the word microaggression has been so memified. And I think that this is what's happened here. I think what PewDiePie has done here is simply a microaggression. Without even realizing it, I think he's just engaged in an eensy bit of ableism, and I don't think it was intentional. I think if PewDiePie was informed, hey, by the way, this lady has, like, hearing impairment, and she's literally doing, like, sign language in the video, and she just has, like, long nails, so them clicking together is just a thing that's going to happen. I don't, like, I think he would understand, okay, she's not just... I think from his perspective, if we're being, like, really, really reasonable here, he probably just thought that she was emoting a lot and that her nails were clicking together and that she kind of had a funny voice. That's probably what he thought. Had he been informed that she had hearing impairment, I don't think he would have done this little bit. I don't think he would have done it. That is my opinion. What do you guys think? I want to know what people in the comments of this video, once it goes up on YouTube as its own video, think as well. Not gonna lie, the nails made me laugh, but I can definitely see the deaf voice be the main problem, but I think PewDiePie was just trying to make a react video on whatever he saw first off. Yeah, I mean, that's more or less what I get. Like, the vibe that I've always gotten is, like, Whoa! Emu Anon. That's a slur. Chill out. How do you not know what that means, by the way? I want you to try plugging your ears so you can't say anything, so you can't hear yourself speak, and then try reading something and just hear how weird it sounds. It's really hard to do because you can hear yourself through your own, like, head, because your voice echoes through your bones. I can't do it because I can't mute myself to my own self. But, like, if you play really loud music so you can't hear yourself, then try reading a sentence and record yourself reading it and listen to it over. Let's just say you're going to sound a little bit silly. You sound really silly when you can't hear yourself speaking and actively make those tiny instant changes in your tone, pitch, and the way you're saying a word to make it come out perfectly. I know damn well that I have to actively modulate my voice to make it sound right. So, like, yeah, basically that's my understanding of why a lot of people with hearing impairment, whether it be full on can't hear anything or just, like, a lot of, like, fuzziness, their voices may sound a little bit strange because they can't hear themselves speak too well. And nobody, literally nobody, can sound like 100% normal, quote unquote, when they can't hear themselves speaking. It's just impossible. Like, it's why you sound funny when you try to talk while listening to loud music, because you can't hear yourself speak. Yep, and it's hard to control your volume. Have you ever talked to somebody with headphones on, listening to music, and you don't even realize that you're screaming at them, and they're like, can you talk a little quieter? You don't even realize you're loud as fuck because you're talking through headphones. Anyway, listen. PewDiePie is the largest YouTuber. Does not need me defending him. And this isn't really even me defending him. This is just me giving my take because this is related to what I talk about, and he's a big name, and I'm kind of, I feel like, required to speak on this, you know? It's like in my wheelhouse. But, like, I don't think this is PewDiePie trying to engage in some, like, ableism or some, like, offensive behavior. I don't think that's what he was doing. I think he was trying to joke around and make fun of a TikToker, because making fun of TikTokers for being silly is the meta right now on YouTube. The YouTube versus TikTok content creator meta is stronger than it's ever been. That's my take. If you disagree, please let me know in the comments down below. In fact, if you agree, let me know in the comments down below. I'm really curious to know what your takes are on all of this. So please comment down below. With all that said, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like, whether you're watching the stream live while I'm doing it right now, right as you're watching presently during this moment, or if you're watching the VOD after the fact, or if you're watching the video after it goes up as its own separate segment, definitely leave a like. It helps the channel, my videos, and everything like that out a lot more than you even realize. You can also support my channel as well as get notified by YouTube when I go live or upload a new video or do anything like that by subscribing and ringing the bell icon. And you can also see more from me online by following my social medias, which are all linked down below, including my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, my fan Discord, etc. And of course, finally, if you want to see more from me, and you want to support me and you want to keep this content coming, you can also support me financially if you've got the money for it. Of course, it's not necessary, but it's always appreciated if you do. You can do so by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or you can support me on YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, or through Patreon. With all that said, regardless of how you support me, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.